From Inwood in New York City, welcome to Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where you meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes that make their home what we affectionately call upstate Manhattan. I'm your host, Aaron Sims, and today we welcome local writer and cartoonist Liza Donnelly. Liza is a writer and cartoonist for the New Yorker magazine and is a contributor to CBS News, CNN, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. Donnelly's TED Talk was translated to 42 languages and viewed over 1.5 million times. The innovator of digital visual journalism called live drawing, she was the first cartoonist to be granted access on location to live draw the Academy Awards. Donnelly is the author, editor of 18 books, most notably Very Funny Ladies, a history of women cartoonists of the New Yorker. She was a visiting scholar at Vassar College, a Distinguished Athena Leadership Fellow at Barnard College, a recipient of an honorary PhD from the University of Connecticut as well. She is a producer and director of Women Laughing, a documentary that premiered in 2025 and will be streamed on NewYorker.com in the fall of 2026. We're thrilled to have her here to talk to us, but first, let me welcome you, Liza, to Inwood Art Works On Air.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Thanks for making the time. How are you today?
I'm great. Weather's beautiful, right?
It's about time, right?
Yeah, I know.
You deserve it. We've been through a lot. If you know about New York weather, there really isn't a spring.
Really? You think so?
I think it's a very short spring.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I grew up in Washington, D.C., where the spring's about 10
cherry
minutes.
Blossoms, yeah.
Right. But it's very short.
As long as the cherry blossoms are on the trees, right?
Right, exactly.
Basically. Gotcha. Well, you're from D.C. originally, so how did you find your way up to northern Manhattan, make a home here?
Oh, it's a long story, Aaron. But I came to New York on a college program, and I was an intern at the Natural History Museum. And as soon as I got to New York, I'm like, I have to live here someday. I really got to be in New York. So I did come here right after college.
Wow.
And I actually worked at the Natural History Museum for 4 years as my first job.
Fabulous place to be.
And then I lived down on 79th Street for a while, and then raised my kids with my husband, Michael Maslin, up in the Hudson Valley. And then the apartment I have in Inwood is actually my oldest daughter's former apartment. She gave it up, and I kept it. So.
Well, that's a great way of finding a place here. From
she did the work.
She did the work. I mean, come on, it's great. Everyone finds their way here because let's just face it. Inwood, it's not everyone's usually go-to first choice when you think of coming to New York City. And so I'm always interested in people's paths to here but I do know once people do find it, they don't want to leave.
That's the way I feel. When I lived on the lower Upper West Side, I had never heard of Inwood until my daughter found the apartment. So.
Well, it wasn't even on the subway map for many years, right?
I wouldn't know.
I think it wasn't. I think it was when you went to the subway and you just saw the map, it was just cut off at a certain place. I think from what I was told. So when did you discover your passion for journalism and what made you want to pursue it? Did you do that when you came to the museum, or was that after?
Oh no, much before. I grew up in, as you said, Washington D.C. during Watergate, and that kind of can either send you in the other direction or it can make you really want to be in politics. And it did that for me. I was already drawing cartoons, and I just became passionate about politics. And then in high school years, I looked at the New Yorker. My parents got it, and I saw that the cartoons in the New Yorker were at times political, in a sort of subtle, indirect way, which appealed to me. I'm very quiet and shy, so I set my sights on the New Yorker and started submitting when I got out of college.
Full circle, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're very goal-oriented, I could say, from your very young age.
Well, I feel lucky that I was drawing at an early age, and so I kind of knew, even though I made a little mini detour in college into biology, I thought that's what I would do, because I didn't think I could make a living at cartooning, which was probably smart.
A rational thought, I think. Not many people do.
Right. So, but I feel fortunate that I kind of had a passion, that I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious too. It's such an interesting thing that you were so influenced by the New Yorker at a young age, and you're there and have contributed for a very long time. Did that also inform, just curious as an artistic question, like your own style, like from the get-go, or did you have other things in mind?
It did. Yeah, it did. My mother gave me a book of cartoons by James Thurber.
Mm-hmm, sure.
If people know who he was.
You do The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah. He was a writer as well, a humor writer as well as a Cartoonist. But his drawings, I would trace them as a kid.
Gotcha.
And they're very loose and very accessible. At least the drawings are. The captions are very adult.
No, very much so. I remember studying him in my National Lampoon class I had when I was younger. The Anatomy of Comedy, the class was called. And
that you taught or you took?
I took. I don't think anybody trusts me to teach it, but there's so many people like that. Him and P.G. Woodhouse and and so many others.
Yeah.
Early 20th century and influenced beyond.
So
I totally get it. That's a definite style.
Yeah.
Al Hirschfeld at all?
I appreciated him.
Yeah.
Growing up in D.C., Herb Bloch was a big influence just for the hard-hitting politics.
Yeah.
And then Gary Trudeau of Doonesbury, not drawing like him, but the way he would do politics about our lives, not so much about legislation and wars and stuff like that. He did political cartoons, strips. This strip called Doonesbury for people who don't know him, and he's still drawing.
Well, that Doonesbury is a great segue into not just informing your style, but also the messaging behind it. Like there's great irony and satire, so maybe it informed your personality and humor a little bit as well.
Yeah, possibly. And then we probably both grew up on Peanuts, right?
Oh, of
Charles
course.
Schultz, and
Charles
that's
Schultz.
Also another. Even though it's mostly just humor for children, he would sometimes sneak politics in there.
Sure. Yeah, very subtle, and but we can all use a good chuckle, I think, in spite of ourselves, maybe, in society. So let's turn our attention to your own story. Well, it's part of your story, the documentary "Women Laughing." Can you tell our listeners what the film is about and how it came to be?
Women Laughing is a short documentary. It's 39 minutes about the women cartoonists of the New Yorker from 1925 to the present. So it's, but it sounds like a history film. It's not. There is some history in there. I had a great. How can I get at this? Anyway, that's what it's about, and it's based on a book that I wrote in 2005, which had a second edition in 2022 about the women. And I thought when I was done with the second edition, I thought, well, that's it. I don't need to do that again. But then I thought, I want more people to know about these women. In 1925, there was a woman doing cartoons in the New Yorker, and if you know your history, that's kind of unusual. It's unusual for a woman. There were some women comedians, but not that many.
Right.
Anyway, so I decided I would try to do a documentary, and I spent the pandemic talking to anybody in the field who would talk to me, and they're very generous people, turns out. And I took classes through Sundance Collab, and we eventually met the team that put together Women Laughing, incredible professionals. I directed it with Kathleen Hughes, and the first person to sign on with me is Judith Mizrachi, who did Martha Mitchell Effect and The Booksellers, and Kathy's worked with Bill Moyers for 40 years, so great team of people, and Natalie Seaver also is a producer. So, and I can't forget the editor, Andrew Fredericks, who's editing is, particularly in documentaries, I think is so important.
It's chief storyteller right there.
I know. I didn't know that when I went into this. It's incredible.
There you go. This is your first film, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Let me back up track for a second. What now? The film's in the can that's playing festivals. Do you feel there's a significance in making this film now?
Yeah, sadly. When we started the film, we were looking to a Kamala Harris presidency, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so before that election, we were thinking, well, it'll be sort of a timeless talk about women's creativity. That's what I want to say about the film too. It's kind of stylized because it is stylized. I'm in the film. I don't really interview the women, five different contemporary cartoonists. I talk with them like you and I are, and we draw together. And the reason for that is that I really wanted to get at women's women's voices and creativity, and like where and why do they do this?
Yeah, I was going to say you're a bit of the engine taking people through the the story, and linking. You're the connector.
Right. Yeah, I'm the guide, I guess.
You're the guide. Yeah.
But so why was I talking about that?
I'm seeing the significance of it being.
Oh, right. So when we were thinking, well, it wouldn't the New Yorker cartoons can be political, but this was not. We didn't think of it as a political film necessarily, although it's feminist because women's voices have not been heard for decades or until recently.
Yeah,
and now it's equal at the New Yorker. Cartoonists are equal in number. When I started in the 70s, there were only 4 of us women out of 40 men. So it's now equal, and that's something to celebrate. But then when the election turned out a different way, and what's going on with women's rights, we now are noticing with the screenings that it's really resonating with people.
Well, I was going to ask you next because you kind of answered one question I was going to say about, why did you have to make the film? And I think you answered in your answer there. It's like you have to raise women's voices, and you have to show the people who have been doing the work, who hate to say the unsung heroes phrase all the time, but it's appropriate. I've seen the film a few times actually.
Okay.
And I'm a festival programmer with the Inwood Film Festival, and it's going to be in the film festival coming up at the end of May.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
So we're looking forward to sharing that with everyone. And so if you're listening here, you're going to see and hear what we're all about soon. So speaking of it's screening now. You've viewed it with fellow audience members and perfect strangers in the room. So were you able to capture your original vision once you feel like you completed the film? Like, did it translate over to what you wanted to get across?
It really
audiences?
is. I can't believe we did it, but it's just the way I envisioned it, really.
Quite vindicating, I'd think, going in with, like you said, it's funny, but there's a political agenda to the piece.
It's very funny, I should say, because there's cartoons in it, and the women are funny, and they're so generous with their humor and their time and their creativity. A
very self-deprecating group, by the way.
Yeah, they are. You're right. Yeah.
And I mean, across the board, everyone is. I will say, in a way, I don't want to say tough self-deprecating because they're also incredibly talented, very humble. I feel like in their talent and their truth to power, as the kids say these days.
I think you're right. And Aaron, what I also discovered in the screenings that I didn't anticipate, there's a number of scenes where we're all around a big round table together. Usually it's just me one-on-one with 5 of them. And then we bring in 5 more women, and we're sitting around a round table at the Algonquin, drawing and talking. And audiences, I think, are just riveted by that. The camaraderie and the kindness towards each other, and the playfulness and the humor, the battering of
it's a little inside baseball, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying what do they do when how the sausage is made, or the drawings in this case,
true.
are made.
Yeah,
I think it's a little peek inside, and also you also get kind of like the idea of like if these are for lack of a better term, the top in their field. Like what's that room like, and how are they interacting, and where are the egos or lack thereof? It's very fascinating.
It is fascinating. The egos are there. They don't dominate.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very wonderful. Well, anything surprised you about the screenings?
Good question. Not really. It's kind of interesting. It has a fair number of cartoons in it. And it's kind of interesting to go to all these screenings in different parts of the Northeast, New York area. We've done some in Maine and also in California. That there's different communities laugh. They always laugh pretty much at the same ones audibly. Hopefully many of them, they're laughing inside too. But some more than others. Depends on where you are. And I can't tell you where the best audience was because they're all good. But
there you go.
Yeah. No, I think it's met my expectations.
Excellent. Was there anything left out you wish you could have left in? 39-minute movie, so it's almost a feature. So you could have gone.
I know.
My point is because and from a filmmaking perspective, and the filmmakers out there know what I'm talking about. It's like you could have went one way or another. You could have sliced and diced even further, or it's that moment where do we make this an hour 15 or so?
Right. we had that conversation like at a critical point.
Yeah.
And originally, my concept was that it would be a feature with women from the New Yorker, but also women from Europe. I know international cartoonists and women and men, but we decided to make it to focus just on the New Yorker because for one thing, the New Yorker celebrated its 100th anniversary, centennial last year. We thought we would ride that wave, and it was a good goal to have. And yeah, that was, and I just, first of all, there's no footage of the women who are deceased. There's no footage, so the history part is hard to do.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it's been done. Ken Burns
You have
does
their
it.
work, but you don't have their voices.
Right. And then I and my fellow director really wanted like the stylized bit of it. So you see them in their studios, but they really don't go to their studios to talk to them about their influences and what pen they use, and talk to their mother or see their cat. We do see a cat. There's a cat in the movie, but it's a compact.
That sells tickets right there, by the way. Cats in movies
it will.
sells
I
tickets.
don't think there's any dogs, but there are dog drawings in the film.
Close enough.
So we just kind of decided to make it a very tight package.
So any pearls of wisdom, it's your first film, to any of those out there who are embarking on their first film, the Passion Project. And I know you had a lot of great, wonderful people working with you, and you met a lot of people, and the New Yorker was behind it very much so. But pearls of wisdom because I feel like this podcast also is somewhat educational. I hope it's entertaining, but also a little educational, and people learn things as well.
Yeah. Get good people around you. Find a team that you can work with and that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's such a collaboration.
Totally.
I'm a cartoonist and a writer. I work by myself.
Yeah.
For 40 years, but so get a great team, people that you like and you can talk to, and the New Yorker was behind it verbally, but they didn't.
They waited to see what happened first, right?
Yeah,
I know how that goes.
So David Remnick has known my passion for this subject for years, and when I told him I wanted, and he wrote the foreword with Emma Allen, the cartoon editor, for the book. So he's been supportive. And when I told him about the documentary, he probably thought I was crazy. Maybe I am, but he was supportive. But there was no money from them,
right?
Until and it's been branded. Now it's been branded the New Yorker, and you can see the New Yorker logo when it starts, and it will eventually you said next at the end of this year it'll be on their site, but and they did help pay for some of the artwork.
That's fantastic.
That is.
Well,
yeah.
if you're going to take care of anything in New York, or the artwork would be the first place I'd put my money to. We're quite known for all the drawing and the art, and I'm curious if you have another one in you now. Is your palate wet for another film experience?
Yes.
Okay. What might that be?
I don't want to talk about it yet.
Okay, well that's fair too. You don't have to. You can keep.
I have
it
a couple of
quiet.
ideas in my brain.
Great.
The other thing is, it's not a great time for documentaries right now. I think it's going to. My colleagues who know more than I do said it could swing the other direction soon.
Well, in the words of David Burns, same as it ever was. I mean, movie making right now is let's just call it the pits. It's very difficult. It's very difficult
Don't
to
mince words.
What's that?
Don't mince words.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? On my salary, why? So it's a free podcast, folks. You get what you pay for here. But I mean, listen, it's. And everyone, this is season 7 here. Go back to whichever one you pick. I think every filmmaker would sing the chorus and refrain of it's just really hard right now to make a living and get paid from being a grip to being a screenwriter to being a torchbearer creative type. So we hope that changes, and it doesn't matter where geographically you reside or where you're making things, and lots of conversations to be had. And frankly, it's just it's just expensive to live in America right now. Let's just put it that way, and then whatever you do. Let's just say the arts isn't on everyone's first. Like we said, being a cartoonist probably isn't everyone's first vocation when they leave, go to college, and saying, you know what, Mom and Dad, I don't think about being a doctor. A cartoonist is where I think I'll make my money. You
gotta have really great parents like I did.
Well, I'm sure mine was the same way. I'm going to go to, and forget that. I'm going to theater. You're like, what?
Did they say that or no?
No, they were incredibly supportive, and both my parents were teachers, and I'm the only one in my family going back to the Stone Age that I think has ever been in the arts in either direction of my family. They were incredibly supportive.
That's great.
I think they see you working hard. I'm very fortunate, and and I hope your parents were the same in the sense of like saying, "Hey, we see you working hard at it. We see your passion for it, and grateful. Here we are." And I think that's standing on the shoulders of people who support you is a wonderful thing.
It is. I want to say one thing about filmmaking being in the pits that in my limited experience, we did 2 Kickstarter crowdsourcing.
Tough raising money,
and people were really generous. You run this festival. You run the festival. You run the Inwood Arts.
We ask for money. We ask for grants, and people, it makes up mostly. That's how we run the festival.
And people, they get it. I have a Substack that is very successful, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying people come out and they want to support artists. It's really great.
It's the only way we have built our company. We're here. It's a 10-year anniversary for Inwood Art Works.
That's great.
And ticket sales makes up 10%, if that, of our annual income. We need champions, and that's why we are here tonight. I totally agree with you. People, as Tennessee Williams wrote, the kindness of strangers is basically why most organizations, nonprofits, and projects like films and theater pieces and dance pieces and whatnot, indie, if you will, to bastardize the term and generalize it, it's really it depends on people like you listeners out there. So I would encourage you to hang out and check out her website or her Substack. Where can they find you?
I have a website, LizaDonnelly.com. Also, my Substack is called Seeing Things, and you could just Google Liza Donnelly and Substack, and I post 5 times a week, writing, politics, cartoons, and where else? I'm on all the social media. It's just at Liza Donnelly, Liza, and womenlaughingfilm.com.
There you go.
If you want to be kept up to date on the screenings, we have a lot of screenings, a lot of festivals lined up, which is really fun. That's womenlaughingfilm.com.
Awesome.
.org. Wait, I don't know. Gosh.
Try both. Don't look at me.
I think it might be
not my website.
I know. Try them both.
We'll verify it and put it right across the screen here for our video version of our podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel, and you can subscribe on our YouTube channel to everything we do at Inwood Art Works, and of course, listen on any podcast platform that floats your boat, because that's the way we roll. But anything else you want to talk about we haven't covered?
I love Inwood.
Well, how about that? Big, boom, exclamation point.
How's that for an ending?
Fork in the ground. She loves Inwood. I love Inwood. We're here. And see women laughing at the Inwood Film Festival, which is why we're here recording this literally here in May before the 11th Annual Inwood Film Festival. It runs May 28th through the 31st. Tickets are available at inwoodartworks.nyc, Eventbrite, and at the door. Just walk on up, and we will do our best to get you in. Screenings sold out last year. It was amazing, and we're so thrilled that we have a very passionate filmmaking community. We're very blessed to have you being a part of it now.
Thank you.
And just also, like I said, Inwood is creative. Here we are, season 7, meeting Liza for the first time, and I have friends who live neighbors who are on 218, 215, Seaman Avenue, Park Terrace, et cetera, so on, Dykeman, and they're saying, "Are you ever going to run out of people to interview?"
No, you're not.
We're not going to. I mean, this neighborhood is it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing because kind of going back to what you just said, and we put our stock in people, and that's what makes our neighborhood very special.
Community.
Absolutely, with a capital C. And that's what we do. We use art as a platform to bring this community together. And this time, we're using a podcast. So thanks again, Liza, for taking the time.
Thank you for having me, Aaron.
You bet.
And for all you do.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that. And I need that sometimes, like we all do. Tell you out there, thank an artist. They appreciate it. Thanks again to Liza Donnelly for joining me on this Artist Spotlight edition of Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where we meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes who make their home here in Upper Manhattan, Inwood, NYC. If you have a moment, please show us some love right now and rate and review this podcast 5 stars on that platform of your choice. It really does help. Many thanks to Church of Good Shepherd here for hosting us and to heightsites.com for uptown promotional support. Hey, by the way, you can support On Air, Inwood Artworks, any of our programs by making a tax-free donation to inwoodartworks.nyc/donate. We would greatly appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on social media at Inwood Artworks to keep up all that we do, which includes Inwood Film Festival, Filmworks Al Fresco, live performances, and also, hey, our brand new Inwood Artworks studio, open now at 112 Seaman Avenue. Please stop by. Thanks to Gary here and also Jonathan, our video editor, for all their production support. And I want to say also, we are proud to be supported in part by public funds, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, in partnership with the City Council. And Inwood Artworks programming is made possible by the New York State Council on the Arts with support of the Office of the Governor and the New York State Legislature. From the top of Manhattan and the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Aaron Sims for Inwood Artworks On Air.